Good afternoon, YouTube. Today I will be doing an oil change on a 1983 Chevy K-10 Scottsdale. It's got a 350 small block in it. This oil change will be compatible with any even a 327, a 327, 350, a 305 from the late 60s, 70s, 80s into the early 90s, the very early 90s, before they Chevy then went to the LT1, which is a different platform. But so what you have here is you have a breather. There's no fill plug. You have your breather on one side, and then your PVC valve on the other side. But they're both breathers. And that one you can see, and you can follow the hose. It goes back into the carburetor. That one goes from there along there back into the carburetor, and that's to keep the pressure down, keep the pressure equalized. Okay, so we take off the breather. Down below. Down below, you got your filter down on the driver's side. Hold on, let me get a better handle on this. You got your filter down on the driver's side, and let me find a drain plug. Drain plug is right there. Driver's side as well. Okay, so they're both next to each other. Filter, drain plug right there. This is your sump, your oil sump, the oil pan. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna take it out for a quick drive and just warm up the oil a little bit, and then I'm gonna get started. Okay, so we got the drain plug out. It is a 9/16, but that's not saying much. These drain plugs could be any size. It just depends on your engine and if it has an aftermarket drain plug. This one has a, like I said, 9/16, and it's magnetic, which is nice. And it came out clean. There was no shavings on it. I didn't clean it off. This is how it came out. So as you can see, nothing. So that's a good thing. So I have it draining. While it's draining, make sure you take out the breather. This is the breather. So all it is just, it just opens up and lets air flow into the valve cover. That's just to give it extra allowance to drain. And you're gonna let it drain. Like I said, take it out for like 5 or 10 minutes, warm up the oil, and then let it drain good, because it's going to be up in the heads and stuff, so you're going to have to let that all drain down. But the warmer oil is going to drain easier. It's going to flow easier down through the block and down into the pan, and then from the pan out. Okay? So that's where we are right now, letting that drain, and then I'm going to take off the oil filter, and I'll show you what model I put back on there, and I'll show you what oil I'm using. Okay, while it's finishing draining, it's almost done. It's just draining, just like you can't even see it. It's just a small little drip. Okay, so like I said, 9/16 box wrench or 9/16 socket, whatever your fancy is. If you're using either one, and the drain bolt's been on for a while, make sure you have a rubber mallet so you can just give it a little persuasion. Okay, what we're using is a Wix 51061. Wix 51061. Here's the filter right here. Okay, that's what we're using. We're using Lucas Hot Rod Classic oil. And this is high zinc for the heads, the lifters, and the hydraulic, and the rocker arms, and the valves and everything, so that it doesn't have as much wear. And I'm also putting in a little of the Lucas oil stabilizer. This is the stuff, if you ever been inside AutoZone or O'Reilly and they have that little machine with the gears, and you spin the gears and the oil sticks on the gears and follows it up. I've got a little blow-by on this. The rings are a little bit worn out. When I'm sitting at a light and I hit the gas, it shoots out a puff of smoke. So I'm adding this so that I have a little oil sheen sticking on the rings, and I'm going to put about a half a quart of this in. It takes 5 quarts total, so I'm going to put 4 1/4 of this. This is 5 quarts. You can get this on Amazon. This I bought at local. Actually, no, I bought this at Walmart. I didn't buy it at a local auto parts store. Bought it at Walmart. And the other thing you're going to need for the filter is a 93 millimeter wrench to take it off. I don't think you'll be able to get it off by hand. You might be able to do it with a crescent wrench or pliers, but it's a pretty big filter. Okay, so this is a 93 millimeter, and it's a 3/8, so you got to use your 3/8 ratchet. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to put this back in, and I'm going to take off the old filter, just so I don't have two things draining at once. And then I'm going to open that. Once the old filter is finished draining, I'm going to open this back up, because there's always a little bit of oil goes back into the pan when you break that seal on the oil filter. So then I'll drain the last of that out, and then I'll button everything back up. All right, I'll be back. I just wanted to show you the oil. I put about 1,000 miles on this only. I bought the truck back in the summer. I put 500 miles on it with a brand new oil change, and then I added seafoam. I added seafoam to the oil, about I believe it was 7 or 8 ounces, just to clean out the inside. And this is what this is the color of the oil. That was 500 miles with the seafoam added and 500 miles before. So this is only 1,000 miles on this oil. So that engine was filthy inside. I got it cleaned out, hopefully. And when I put that additive in, that Lucas additive into the oil, I'm hoping that might solve my my ring problem. If not, then I'm thinking of doing a crate motor swap, because just to pull it apart and machine it and redo it, or do a ring job and pull the whole engine apart, it's almost within reach of a cheaper crate motor. All right, next step. Okay, so filter is out. Like I said, it's draining some more, because for some reason when you take that seal off, it drops more fluid, drops more oil down into the pan. As you can see, it's coming out pretty good. So I'm letting that drain. This vehicle has the exhaust pipes right there's the fastener for the oil filter, and the exhaust pipes are right underneath. So I'm going to need to use some brake clean. I'm going to take some brake clean and clean this up. All right, so I'm letting that drain, and then I'm going to put that back in, tighten that up. And it's probably, I don't know the exact torque specs, but it's probably anywhere between 15 and 20 foot-pounds for that drain bolt. And then I'm going to put the oil filter back on. The oil filter, make sure, I already did it, make sure you put a little fresh oil on the gasket, on the O-ring. Put a little fresh oil. I'm going to put that up right now and let it finish draining. Well, it looks like it's almost done. All right, next step. Okay, so we have the drain bolt back on and tightened up. I've sprayed the exhaust with brake clean, cleaned off the oil. We have the new oil filter is in and tightened up. So we're all done down here. Going up top, I'm going to use a ratio right. I've talked about these before in other videos. Ratio right. These are great to have. They're invaluable. I'm going to put 8 ounces of the Lucas oil stabilizer in, and I'm putting that in with my 5 quarts. So I'm going to be, it's supposed to have just 5 quarts. I'm going over a little bit, so that's going to be 5 1/4 is what's going to be in there. And I'm going to see if that works. So I've got my funnel ready. I'm going to start adding fluid. Put your oil stabilizer in first, because this is like almost like maple syrup. So you want to put it in there, and then you want to flush it down into the sump with your regular oil. All right, I'm going to do that now. All right, well, the oil change is done. Oil pressure is holding. Well, you can't really see it. It's holding at 20. It was up at 40 before I did it. So I don't know if it was flowing easier and the pressure was higher, but now it's at 20. And the problem is, though, it's running smoother, it's running quieter. It had a little more acceleration, so I think the compression, the rings are sealing a little better with the oil stabilizer. But like I was saying, let me show you. If I give it gas, if I'm sitting at idle at a light and I give it gas, that's what happens. I throw out some oil, some smoking oil. So the oil's still getting by the rings. Anyhow, so to wrap it up, so you need that Wix filter. I don't remember the number, but I said it in the beginning of the video. I use the Lucas hot rod oil that has high zinc in it. 5 quarts. You need a 9/16 ratchet or box wrench to get off the drain plug on this vehicle, this specific vehicle. Could be different on yours. 15 to 20 foot-pounds to tighten it back up once you finish draining it. Hand tight on the oil filter. And then I added, I wound up adding 8 ounces, rather 10 ounces of the Lucas oil stabilizer, and it runs smoother, it idles better. As you can hear it, it's idling pretty smooth. It's pretty good for a 38-year-old vehicle, and it has better response on the pickup. But the rings are still not sealing 100% because I'm getting oil bypass. Okay, that's it. Mike Machines out. Please subscribe and like, and leave any comments or questions in the comments section. Thank you.